This is our story, a story of the work we do to help make a positive impact on our planet. Every item is a resource to be used, has a purpose more helpful than simply sending it to landfill. In our charity shops and donation centres, at our clothing banks and in our processing centres, we enable valuable resources to be reused and recycled. Our colleagues, our customers, our corporate partners and our communities enable that to happen. Working together makes the difference. Early each morning, our collectors begin their day travelling to around 8,000 clothing banks. Today, our clothing banks can be found at supermarkets and other convenient locations in every region across the UK.
Typically in a day, I would travel to 20 different banks.
So they do on average about 1,200 miles a week.
I take in about 40 tonnes a month worth of clothing.
Some sites are heavier than others, some days are busier than others.
Our collectors not only empty banks, they also clear each site as much as possible, placing cardboard boxes in recycling bins, sweeping debris, and reporting any issues to the central support team. Going above and beyond is part of our service and reflects the values of the Salvation Army.
We often get donations while we're emptying the clothing banks, so we always try and help them, whether coming from the cars, we take it off them. If it's heavy, we'll deal with it. We'll put it in bags for them. We ask if they want the bag back, so we try and help as much as we can.
Collectors take donated items to local trailer sites for onward delivery to one of our processing centres, or they will deliver direct to their nearest centre. Connecting our nationwide network of collectors and trailer sites are our processing centres in Kettering and Winchester. Whether it's processing donations over the door to our shops and donation centres, or to clothing banks, or handling larger donations from our corporate partners, the opportunity for companies and individuals to donate second-hand or unwanted items to the Salvation Army is broad and far-reaching. This is just part of our story. We ethically source products and think about ways to reduce environmental impact through our procurement. We improve our ways of working and help our partners do the same. We use our creativity and skills to deliver the best shopping experiences for our customers. We innovate and experiment with new ideas locally and nationally. We invest in groundbreaking technologies and facilities to make a bigger and more positive impact. We strive to enhance the sustainability of our own operations and reduce our carbon footprint. Here, our colleagues share more about just some of the work we do.
The Satcol fleet has grown enormously in the last 18 to 24 months. We've seen a real increase in commercial vehicles, especially with the CCD division. A lot of focus is on Lightfoot at the minute, trying to improve driver efficiency, which will help reduce costs in terms of fuel spend. We've also worked quite at depth in the analyst teams, looking at different runs and trying to reduce the number of miles the drivers are actually using. So we're burning less fuel to get to our clothing banks. So that's really worked and has driven down our average mileage from over 3,000 miles per month for a driver down to about 2,500. So that's a 500 mile saving. So at the minute, it's quite exciting times for me as a fleet manager for Satcol. I work closely with our leasing partner, Grosvenor Contracts, to try and get as many trials as possible. So we've currently got on trial at our Kettering Donation Centre a Mercedes E-Sprinter. So that's a full electric transit-sized medium wheelbase van that we're using solely out of the Kettering Donation Centre to see how that operates for them on a daily basis. We're also looking at installing electric charging points at the donation centres. So that's quite exciting. So that'll be able to facilitate EV charging for cars, for customers, but more importantly, that commercial vehicle to get that extra charge and then get back on the road again.
Our very existence and our business model is basically designed to address environmental issues, in that if, for example, we didn't have this service, some of this clothing that we then go on to sort and sell would end up in bins and they would end up in landfill. But then we are taking this second-hand clothing and then sending it to where it is needed. It's going to be used. And we try as much as possible to make sure that the people at the end of our supply chain are responsible. That's why we evaluate our customers. We want to see to it that when they get their goods, they are giving or selling them to people who will go on to wear them, and the small proportion of what they cannot sell. We also want to know that they dispose of it in a responsible way, in a manner that doesn't hurt the environment.
Obviously we have the recycle part, which is great. Phil, our mechanic, can work wonders. We've had some fantastic donations from Cambridge University, the Swindon recycle store, and that's given us a lot of things we can reuse and sort of recycle and sell in the store. And rather than ending up in landfill or in the canal, we can use those, take those, and make something that'll that we can make money for the store and make money for the charity. And it's been a great feature.
Doing a job like this, you've got bikes that you're giving a new lease of life to. People that can't go to a shop and spend hundreds or thousands of pounds on bikes, they can get bikes here, get them donated, get them serviced, get them ready, and we're selling bikes really well. So it's a good thing to give them second or even third lives, I suppose. Every bike that we remove parts from is put here. If it's good enough, it's all put here. Everything you can think of to do with bikes and we can save is saved here. Anything we can't use, we've got a stillage here which is full of like frames, old wheels. So that all gets collected by a scrapman, everything gets recycled, nothing goes to waste.
We recycle all the rags, anything that we don't feel the clothing that's fit for sale in store. Obviously, we've got the channels where we get that recycled and shipped off to get processed. Other things we sort of do in store. Obviously, there's things we get donated that we can't sell. We get a lot of computers and printers. If we can't do things with those items, rather than throw them away, we've sort of made partnerships with other local stores. There's an e-geek store just a few doors up the road. They're taking things that we can't use, like PCs and printers, and they're selling them on, reusing, recycling them, and then donating the money back to us, which is fantastic.
So the implementation of the Winchester hub, what we did there was try to save around 114,000 HGV miles. The aim was to process 15,000 tonnes of textile. If you look at where we are now with that, it will probably process around 17,000 tonnes of textile this year, and that will be roughly 128,000 HGV miles it will have saved.
As part of the new facility, we've obviously taken into account the environment, so we've changed the forklift trucks to be lithium-ion batteries, which is brand new technology in terms of forklifts. They can literally be plugged in just like you charge your phone, so we can plug them in on the T-brake and they'll boost at least 40%. So we're saving on gas. We're looking to install solar panels on the roof so we can gather some energy for free and use it in, and obviously the facility would be as efficient as it can in terms of its energy usage.
We continue to grow and nurture partnerships and support our parent church and charity.
Because of who we are, working for the Salvation Army and working towards that cause, the Red Shield has been prominent and ever present on our high streets all the way through lockdown. I know in this area, we at the shop worked very closely with our local corps to ensure that people were supported in the area with food parcels, with mental health support, with anything that we could give them. Our food parcels were sent out using our rebags. We used our books to do a book event during lockdown for people to keep their mental health going. I think because of who we are and what we have done to help people and support people, people are thanking us now and coming in store and giving us back what they received.
We generally get maybe between 5 and 6 customers that would come through to us a week from the Salvation Army. Basically what happens is that the Corps would get in touch with STEP's head office and they would issue a voucher to the client, and the customer would come into the store and look for us to help them spend that voucher. We'll take the opportunity to offer free delivery and get our guys to deliver the product to the customer to support them.
Another recent collaboration with Winchester School of Art was supported by colleagues across our business. Our clothing collection division delivered a van load of donated textiles to the school. Our retail and support teams work with the school to set up pop-up shops and promote the collaboration to help educate others and celebrate sustainability. Fashion students deconstructed, reconstructed and repurposed unwanted clothes into new designer outfits. Often, it's the smallest of acts, every day, that add up to something much bigger.
Everything has a use, it's just finding the person that wants to use it.
Judy came into the store one day asking for pillows and duvets. I explained to her that due to hygiene reasons we don't sell them. When she informed me of what she wanted to do in making pet beds, light bulb moment, we collaborated together and it's been a friendship, partnership ever since. So Judy comes in and volunteers with us. She looks after the linen area, and in doing so, any duvets, pillows that we have donated in, she will take them home, she washes them through and processes them through to the pet beds that we sell today. This whole process, it's ever evolving. I don't ask people to do these things, and maybe I just sow that little bit of a seed that ignites them, and before you know it, we've got another project that's set off and something else that we're upcycling. So it's very humbling and very pleasurable to do.
I've now been here for about 4 months and I've processed approximately 2,000 items that have passed. There's been about 1,000 items that I can't pass. One of the things we do with our data stuff or computer stuff is work hand in glove with a company called A Geek, and they work with Aspire, a local charity that fix, reuse and train youngsters how to fix PCs, laptops, telephones. The whole idea is though, it gets reused instead of thrown away, and that helps keep up the recycling. And if we all pull together, we can make a difference. Every little helps.
We are fitted out in the shops with the very basic fixtures and fittings when a shop opens. So we only have a very basic amount of shelves, basic amount of forearms, and over time, through donations from people and spotting things for free out there on the internet, we find fixtures and fittings. So your faithful Kallax unit right beside me here, it's perfect for records to display those. Other fixtures and fittings are excellent. They can nicely fit in store, and they're in keeping with our surroundings as well. So we're not letting these things go into landfill. We're using them in store for a purpose for the customers as well. So we have button boxes for when people come in and ask for buttons. We don't sell them per se in the shop, but we ask for donations to be given for them. Yes, our window display is made up of reusable items that we've had donated or found in store that we've kept over the years, because there's no point in throwing these things out. These are useful and people make use of them all the time.
How are people's attitudes to sustainability and charity shopping changing?
We've got a lot more environmentally conscious customers over the past 2 years. I'd say it's become much more of a topic of conversation, and we are finding now that we're getting a much younger clientele coming through. They are coming in and they're wanting to reduce the carbon footprint. They're wanting to buy something and give it a second chance. I'm finding that the younger customers are moving more and more away from the high street and the new goods. They want to make sure they're doing their bit.
I think second-hand charity shops are really important for the community overall. It gives customers a chance, to come and shop and find things that they maybe not find elsewhere. It gives them a chance to see things being upcycled and renewed, a chance to contribute to saving the environment.
No, I've stopped buying new clothes because, apparently the fashion industry is like a second contributor to what's happening to our environment. So I've stopped buying new stuff altogether. And there's plenty of new stuff sometimes in charity shops as well. So yeah, lots of good deals here.
I've been coming here about 26, 27 years, when it was only a wee tiny shop. I don't know how many streets that I've bought from here, but it's all great condition. Anybody comes into my house and they'll say, oh, I like that, and I like that, and I go, Salvation Army.
There's definitely a sense of people trying to make an effort to buy second-hand. I would definitely say that. People are quite willing to try and go to the charity shop first. We've had customers coming in, often younger customers now as well, very happy to talk to us and tell us, oh, I'm trying to have a challenge to not buy any new clothes this year. I'm just going to charity shops and trying to see what I can find. And it's a year-long challenge, and they find it quite easy actually and quite fun. So yeah, we've been seeing more of that, and it's really nice.
People feel like they can donate things here and something will be done with it. Something good will be done with it.
What about our own personal motivation, our commitment to protect the environment?
I love the opportunity to, one, buy something that isn't on the high street, a little bit different to everywhere else. Two, give clothes a second life and let that story carry on as well. I really like when donations have come from someone and they tell you the story behind it. So when you're selling it at the till, you can then pass on that little story that goes with it too, and the green aspect too, obviously recycling. I like to show the customers what they can do with the product. So for our window, we like to get items that we have a surplus of, make something of it, and say to the customers, you could make this too.
Fast fashion is very successful. And the benefit of the charity shop is to ensure that, as much as it's fast fashion, those items still have a second chance of reselling to customers again, and instead of going to landfill. And that's been a really good thing for driving the store.
I actually discovered charity shops in UK, and I think they're so nice for students, first of all, because I was a student, a fine art student, and I needed props for my art projects. And it's so nice to find so many diverse things, and you can actually buy them and bring them back so someone else can reuse them. And I think it's very important because we already have so many clothes, so many things around the house, so we can reuse them. I actually researched about fast fashion like last year. I've done it like more than before, and since then I didn't purchase anything from any brand or anything except charity shops, and just if I needed something. And yeah, I'm quite worried because so many people are superficial, and it's damaging not just for the planet but for younger generations as well. So I think we should all impact this.
There's many places now that are selling cheap clothes, obviously for obvious reasons, but obviously that has an impact on our environment. That fast fashion's having a big impact. Not only that, as part of the facility, we're always trying to find different recycling outlets for our plastic. Now we've started to do that, it's really highlighted to me the big issue that it is. So it has an effect on at home. So now we use bamboo toothbrushes at home, because part of the process is we found out actually a toothbrush cannot be recycled because of the makeup. There's rubber, there's different types of plastic molded together. It can be recycled, but it's not economically viable to be, like a lot of things.
One of the main things that I was interested in was the environmental aspect. That's kind of what I came from. I'd just come out of uni, I'd had a year of working, and I really wanted to go into a job where it feels like you're making a direct impact. And a job like this, it's just ticking so many boxes. You've got that social impact, you've got that environmental impact. It was just perfect, and I'm so glad I got the job. So for me, a big thing is about sustainable fashion as well, reuse, circular economy. It is such an important part for me, just because there's so much clothing, and it's to try and sell as much of that as we can to try and find new homes. I really enjoy that. Personally, I have a little bit of a thing against buying, say, maybe cheap clothes new, but I'm quite happy to buy those same cheap clothes secondhand. I can feel good about it. I can buy it and think, well, I've actually saved that from landfill. If I'm going to buy something new, it's going to have to be long lasting. If it is something that's maybe got questionable production methods or made out of a fibre that I think is really unsustainable, I would really only look to buy that secondhand if I could. As a charity shop, our place is definitely to try and encourage reuse, for sure, and to become known as a place, if you can't reuse your item, that we are the place to come to recycle it as well, because we can pass it on to recycling. We know what's going to happen to that. We know it's not going to end up in landfill. Realising that a lot of shoppers, now that they are thinking about environmental reasons for shopping, that we can really focus in on that and say, yes, we're the people to come to actually. We fit into that so well.
For many years, the Salvation Army has reused and resold second-hand and unwanted items to provide affordable clothing and other provisions. From those early ideas and community-based projects, the trading company was founded and has grown to what it is today. And what does the future hold? Investments in more energy-efficient facilities to manage our operations and support the sustainability targets of our partners is a cornerstone of our work today and in the future. Our Environmental Steering Group encourages initiatives around the company to create better, greener working environments, which also helps to improve our well-being. An intrinsic part of our company strategy focuses on clean air, climate change, improving working environments, the circular economy, and reducing waste. The work of our Environment Steering Group and partnerships with charity and industry organisations through the Trust Forum will continue to drive best practice in the way we procure products, process second-hand goods, operate efficiently, and minimise waste, as well as playing a critical part in educating people. As governments around the world introduce legislation which places greater responsibility on organisations, and as consumer attitudes and behaviours will change even more, the need for change is urgent. The Salvation Army has an important role in the future circular economy. Our work, as part of Textiles 2030, and with organisations such as the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, will enable us to support others in reaching their sustainability goals and positively influence the environmental footprint and social impact of clothing and textiles. We are well placed to help. Working together, we make the difference.
Everybody should reuse and recycle responsibly. It's not something that should be down to one or two people. Everybody should be ingrained in them to do it, because we're only on this planet for so long, and if we don't do something about it, then it's our children that are going to suffer, and their children. There might not be a planet for. So we have to reuse, we have to recycle, we have to repurpose. If I'm destroying the planet, that's not helping my kids. That's not helping their kids. So where does my legacy go? You've got to do something.